already know, man. Kfrog TV back. We finally unbanned. We out of confinement, y'all. And since we out of confinement and we're finally allowed to post videos again, I felt like what better video than to come on here and speak to y'all about what it's like and what to expect when you first get out of confinement. And what I went through my first time out of confinement. My mind was going in all different types of senses, directions, and everything when I got out the box. So since I feel like we out the box, we're going to talk about it. Let's do it.
Same time of the week, better be there. Have my people send a message, make sure that it's there. Time for me to collect, bring the shit over here. Cause you can tell that my face don't make me come over there. I run up in your room, put my shank in your neck. Swear to God, I'll wet you up, better show me respect. I'm hitting licks like nut, break bread with dogs. Putting on for Eastside, Davey, this Kfrog, it's a robbery. Heard what I said, I got some names I won't say. Most of them dead, for that tunch you get as a price on your head. Take the shit out your locker, throw it all on my bed. You got a daughter back you up, on care what you click. 2 lockers to fit both y'all shit. See me in the cut jamming, smoking the rip. Getting tatted with the money that your people are sent. See on the streets I would've bust you, but in prison I come cut you.
What's up, y'all? You already know, man. Kfrog TV back in the building. Y'all go ahead and do me that solid favor, man. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe button. And also make sure you hit that notification bell so you can see it first. Welcome back to the channel, y'all. It's about time I'm finally unbanned and I'm back being able to drop content so I can, chop it up with my viewers and see who we still got over here, all right? Now, I won't get too much into detail why I was banned, but I will let you know that I got banned due to profanity, all right? And it's crazy, like, the levels that other content creators will go to in order to get somebody banned over something so simple, all right? But one thing I will let y'all know, just in case you don't know, is when somebody does report somebody like that and you're a content creator, they send an email to the content creator and it shows the name of the individuals who are actually, reporting you. So, word of the wise, all you people out there that don't like Frog and the ones that actually just got me banned recently, just know I peep. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But we fresh out of confinement. So I felt like dropping a video to let y'all know what to expect and what it was like my time, actually my very first time out of confinement, okay? Because I've been to confinement multiple times. I was going to confinement when I was a juvenile locked up in the detention center. It started all the way back in DJJ. I was getting put in the box, okay? Then, of course, when I went to the juvenile program, I landed in confinement. And then in the county jail, I've been to the box. I've been on the 7th floor. You know what I'm saying? Black and white, looking like a zebra cake with a black and white jumpsuit on. And in the chain gang, of course, I've been to confinement multiple times. But I want to speak to y'all on what it's like when you first get out of confinement. And the reason I want to do that is because I literally feel like I just got out the box. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm back on the pound. What shit can I get into now? You get what I'm saying? Don't mind the profanity. But anyways, when you first get out of confinement, the first thing that comes to your mind is who's still there? Who's still on that same compound? Just like right now. Who's still around? Who we still got in the comment section? You see what I'm saying? And just like when you're in confinement in prison, it was the same way how I felt when I was banned, okay? Because I was limited to the access that I had to communicate with people, all right? I was able to make community posts and stuff, but that was about it. That's just like when you're in the box, you can't call home, so you got to write letters. You're forced, they take it to where your communications, to a minimum. So we got through that. It is what it is. Now, when I first got out of the box, it's kind of like it's a reset. Each time you go to confinement when you're in prison, it is a reset, all right? Now, when you get out, even if you get put in the same dorm you was once in, people get transferred throughout the week all the time. You see what I'm saying? So it's like you might be in a dorm where you knew all 80 people that are in there with you. Next thing you know, you go to confinement just for 15 to 20 days and you get out and there might only be 25 people in that dorm you still know. Them dorms flip, quick. You know what I'm saying? So whoever you're kind of hoping still there, like which one of your dogs is still there, a couple of them might not be. You might be like, oh, he's still here, he's still, damn, they got rid of my, oh, he's still, damn, they got rid of my other dog, he's still there, damn, they got rid of my, that's how it goes. You see what I'm saying? You're never supposed to get too comfortable, and you can't help but to hope you still know somebody because, like I said, it's like you're starting your bid fresh again, and just because you've been in a dorm before, doesn't mean you're going to get the same love you once got from people. Just like on YouTube. Just because people were fucking with you before, doesn't mean you're going to get the same type of, support that you did before. You see what I'm saying? Same thing, same concept. That's why this was the perfect thing to speak on. All right. Now, when I first got out of the box, my very first time, I'll never forget. I was in C dorm at an institution, Calhoun CI to be exact. I was in C dorm, which was the kitchen dorm. I didn't even get to start working in the kitchen yet before I got put in the actual, box. But when I got out of the box after 60 days, I landed in that same dorm. So me, I'm thinking, I'm gonna know people. You know what I'm saying? Because the county jail's so small, you kind of like know people each time you get out of the box over there. You feel me? You're running the same people over and over and over again, even if it's in different parts of the jail or different jails. But I'm in prison now, you see? So when I get out of the box, I'm expecting the same treatment. And boy, was I wrong, I was like wondering where I'm going. I got out of the box. They made me pack all my shit up, roll up my bed, my mattress, wrap my sheets around it, put my arms in it, and rock it like it was a book bag with a sleeping bag in it. When really it was my, my mattress. And I'm standing there in the property line. That's where you go when they're giving you all your stuff, whatever you weren't allowed to have while you're in confinement. And that's where they tell you where you're actually going to be assigned again, So I was waiting for them to tell me where I'm going. And as I'm standing there inside of that property line waiting for them to tell me, they're like, you're going to C dorm. So I'm like, all right, that's cool in my head when they're telling me. But they're like, no, you're going to C1, such and such. And they tell me my bunk, which was like 117 upper or something like that, because that's the way they explain it. If they say upper, your top bunk, lower, bottom bunk. So once they threw it at me, I was like, okay, C dorm. And then when I said C1, I was like, oh, same exact side of the dorm too, because the dorms are split into two sides. The officer booth's like right in the middle. So you can't really go to the other sides unless you violate and go over there. So I was like, okay, I'm getting put in the same dorm and the same exact side. So I'm like, thinking like, okay, that ain't nothing. I don't even feel new because I was there for a little while before I went to confinement. Next thing you know, I'm walking across the compound and I get to my dorm. When I walk in there, it's like it was dimmer inside. So once you go inside the dorm, it's like when you first walk in, it's dim compared to the sun that's beaming. You know what I'm saying? So it was real like when the door opens, it's like a shiny, bright light. If you're sitting in there, it's kind of like you're waiting to see who's coming in. So me, when I first walked in, I was waiting to see familiar faces. So I walk in right where the phones are. I bend the corner and look. And when I look up, I just see a bunch of people looking at me. But as I'm looking, I'm like, none of these people look, familiar. I'm walking to my damn bunk and I'm looking around and nobody looks familiar. You get what I'm saying? And it hit me like, I felt like I was too comfortable. I felt like I was thinking, oh, this shit ain't nothing. I've already been in this dorm. You feel me? And as I went in there, like the expectation that I was hoping for wasn't what it was. Once I bent that corner and made my way to my bunk, I wasn't looking like I was happy to see people or nothing, but I was definitely observing. You get what I'm saying? And when I went to go to my bunk, as I'm putting my shit up on my bunk, I'm looking around just to see if I may happen to see it, if I missed people. I just happened to lay eyes on the people I didn't, recognize. And I'm looking around and I don't see nobody, that I know. You feel me? So then I make my way to the water fountain. People are looking at me like I'm crazy, but in reality, I don't want to look like my shit don't stink. You feel me? I don't want to look like, oh, I ain't sweating y'all boys, like I'm trying to look like I'm creep or like I ain't like somebody that's cool. But I'm walking around because I know this dorm. This was my dorm before, you feel me? Not even that long ago. So I'm walking around into the, the TV room. I hit the water fountain, and I go in the TV room, look around, and I see two dudes in there that I know. You feel me? And the two that I know, I wasn't even that cool or talkative to them from before I went to confinement. I just remember their faces. You see? So I'm like, okay, maybe everybody's at rec. Next thing you know, when it's later on that day, it's time for, everyone to take it in for the night. It's master roster count, last count of the day. I'm looking around and I'm the newest shit in the dorm. And there's literally like 2-3 dudes that just look familiar, but none of them were really like my dogs. You feel me? I seen 1 or 2 dudes in there that I did know that were my dogs from a different dorm though, that were in that dorm now. You see what I'm saying? Like I didn't know them from that dorm. I still felt like I was out of place. I still felt like the same feeling I had when I first came to this institution and went in this dorm. You feel me? I didn't want to look vulnerable or look like I was soft or nothing, because that ain't the case. But at the same time, I felt all eyes and attention was on me, because it was. You see what I'm saying? And it was like I had to do the whole thing over again. Now I got to meet all these new people. I don't want to seem too friendly because I don't know how it is in the States where y'all are from who's watching. But down here in Florida, white boys that go to the chain gang that be mad friendly, people take advantage of them. You know what I'm saying? Beat them up, rob them, extort them, try them. You ain't gonna get Frog like that. I ain't looking for no friends. I ain't looking for no enemies either. You know, but I'll be quicker to get enemies than I will a friend, you know, because that's just how I am, you know. And I'm sitting back since I'm on this top bunk. You know, everybody's sleeping and shit. They're comfortable and everything. They done been here or whatnot. But I'm literally just laying there in the dark. And I'm just observing. I'm just looking around. You know, I'm kind of like taking it all in. You know, laying back just like this. You know, and just taking it all in and just observing everybody. Realizing where everybody's bunk is. Who sleeps where. You know, I'm not going to remember it all that quick, you know. But throughout the days go by, you know, I wasn't friendly. Even my bunkie I had, you know, the bunkie I got or whatever, me and him, it wasn't all that, you know what I'm saying? He didn't even speak English, you feel me? What's up, Poppy, you know, and shit like that, you know, feel me? But he didn't speak that much English, so I kept pushing, I did my own thing, you feel me? But as the days go by and shit like that, you kind of, you know, you kind of learn who's who, people learn who you are, and before you know it, Frog, and you know, people know what's what, you know, and shit like that. You learn who's cool, who ain't. And a lot of times, I've found myself being cool with the slimiest, crookedest people that everybody's scared of in the dorm. You know, and I don't even intentionally try to be cool with them. It's just like, I'm accepted by this individual. And it ends up being the individual that done tried a bunch of other people or beat this person up or rob this person, you know, so it's like I'm cool with the robbers. And I don't go in there trying to be cool with them. It's just, I got that, I guess that vibe, that energy that a lot of white boys don't bring to the table when they're locked up. So it makes it to where it wouldn't matter if it was 5 different gangs and they're all different members and they're all robbers, all crooked. They barely get along with each other, but somehow, some way, Frog's in the middle of that shit somehow. I'm over there vibing. I'm cool with all 5 of the same gangs that are at each other's throat, you know. And I want to say that I just fall in the right place at the right time, you know. There's no other way to say it. I know I'm a cool individual, and a lot of times when I find myself in beef or in problems, it's with people who definitely don't know me. You know, they kind of like jump the gun and think they could try me or get away with it or say something slick, get away with it, or whatever it is, and then I find myself in beef. But them same individuals would be cool with me if they knew me. You see what I'm saying? And then that's how I end up making it to where I got so many people that like me because I'm thorough. So I stand on all 10 no matter, regardless of the situation. It could be the littlest or the majorest. And I think that follows you when you're locked up. You see what I'm saying? And when you get out of confinement, doesn't matter if it's your first time out of confinement or your 10th time out of confinement, you're going to find yourself starting over in another dorm. Or even starting over in the same dorm you was just in. Unless you got put in confinement for 2 days, 3 days, and came back to the same dorm. You know, but it's going to feel different adjusting regardless because you may have been in the corner of the dorm. You know, your bunk might have been a bottom bunk in the back left corner. Then you go to confinement. Now you get out. Now you might be on the right side in the front along the wall, not even in the corner. You see? So everything's different. You know, you're taking all this in, you're viewing it, you're visualizing all this shit as you're going through the time. You get what I'm saying? And it's like starting over every time you get out of the box. Now you gotta kind of like whatever they took that you weren't allowed to keep, if it wasn't something that they got rid of or something that they sold or something that was stolen, you know, you'll be able to keep most of your stuff, but you're gonna have to start over with some things. You get what I'm saying? Like, I got out of confinement before, and I remember I had a whole $100 swipe worth of canteen. We just hit the canteen window, and I got put in confinement. And when I got out of confinement, I had my whole sack still in this trash bag that they had stored away in the property room. You feel me? So I'm skipping chow. I'm like, shit, everybody was going to chow when I got put in this dorm. I'm unloading all my property, putting my shit up where it needs to go, in my locker and everything. I'm skipping chow, thinking everything's all gravy. Next thing you know, I look, a lot of my shit was busted open from rats. A lot of that shit had little German roach droppings and bodies and like their shell or their body, they're fucking like they, you know, looked like baby roaches every fucking where. I had tortilla wraps that were hard as a rock. They were, you know, hard, stale as shit. So it's kind of like, I gotta charge that hundo to the game. You feel me? I gotta like, there might be a couple little things in there that I can orchestrate with. But for the most part, a lot of that shit was trash, dunzo. You feel me? And you got to learn to take these things as a loss. You know, you got to start over when you get out of confinement. That's just how it is. You feel me? Whatever books you may have had, someone finna take that. You know, that shit ain't gonna be in there 9 times out of 10. You know, you might have your MP, your MP3, MP4, whatever they got. Now they got tablets in certain prisons and shit. You might have that in there. If somebody don't steal that shit might be there, but it might be out of days. Cause see, in Florida prison, when you got an MP3, MP4, there's days on it. So you gotta plug it in before the days run out. And the thing you plug it in is on normally on the rec yard. You see what I'm saying? So you go to confinement, that shit just been sitting there. It might, you know, the days might still wind down, or it might save your days. Who knows? You feel what I'm saying? But 9 times out of 10, you might have to plug that shit in. You feel me? So a lot of things that you once had, you ain't got no more. Think about it. You lost all your dogs you was vibing with. Whatever job they had gave you, you ain't got that job now till you go to ICT, which is inmate classification team, and they give you another job. You feel me? And so you lost both of those. Then majority of your property. If you got any cool ass like things your family done sent you in there, any type of drawings, anything like that people can get tattooed on them or make any kind of money, you know, they taking that. That shit's gonna get took, and you're never gonna see it again. You know, because even if you land in the same dorm, you might see it, but are you for sure it's yours? Think about it now. Now, if it's a one-of-one drawing that somebody sent you, or you got drawn up, or it's a portrait of your loved one, then of course that's your shit. You go get that shit from whoever if you see it. But I'm talking about if it's something that anybody could have got sent to them, or anybody could have ripped out of a magazine or something like that, then how do you know it's really yours? You get what I'm saying? So I'm the type of person, I'm still gonna say something. I'm gonna be like, yo, hey bro, what's up? Where you get that little picture at right there? You got, you know, glued to your locker right there. You feel me? If they're like, oh, yeah, somebody went to confinement, and oh yeah, that's my shit, bro. I'm gonna be 100 with you, dog. I ain't even trying to start no shit with you, none, dog, but that's my shit, bro. That's why I approach you. You feel me? And I might let him keep it, depending on the way his response was to me. But if he says it on some like put down shit, or there's my shit cracker, or something like that, then I don't even want it no more. But we finna fade, just because it ain't even about that no more. It's about the rah. You feel me? So you got to start all over anytime you come back to confinement. You get what I'm saying? You're basically meeting new enemies, new friends, new things to eat, and you're curious all over again. It's like everything you learned and observed in that dorm, it isn't the same way now. Shit rotates. You know, I've told this in multiple videos. It isn't, you know, the dorms or the prisons that are killing people. It's the inmates in the prisons. You feel what I'm saying? So they rotate that shit. You know, it only takes a couple knuckleheads from one institution to land at a soft institution. And them 2 knuckleheads turn that institution up. Next thing you know, it's follow the leader. Everybody starts turning up. That same institution that was soft might be the ratchet camp now. But that one institution that you knew of being a ratchet camp, that was the trenches where it was, you know, shit was going down 24/7. It might be soft over there now. You see, that's just how it goes. You got to understand and never get yourself comfortable. And I learned that with YouTube as well. You see, this is why it all entwines. It's like I'm fresh out of confinement, you see? And I learned never get too comfortable, because at the end of the day, it's really out of your hands. You feel me? And if you're going to the box from someone else setting you up, or you're getting banned from somebody else reporting you, at the end of the day, it's still the same. You know, it's out of your hands. You're paying, you know, you're going through the discipline, you know, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Just sit there and do the time. You feel me? But all you can do is when you first get out of confinement is you can see what's changed, what's new out there, who's still around. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully you land a better job after you get out of confinement than you had before. You know, try to see which other ways there is to make money. Is there a way to make money better? And try not to do whatever you did last time to go to confinement. Try not to do it again. And if you land in there again, then, you know, and you keep getting in trouble over and over and over again, then at the end of the day, that's your own fault, you know, because you ain't learned the first time. So then you had to go a second. If you ain't learned the second time, then you had to go to third. And it kind of like goes just like this. And before you know it, the problem actually is you see? Instead, you're supposed to take that little time and enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? There isn't one time that I went to confinement while in any type of lockup that I wasn't smiling while in confinement. All right, I'm gonna say that again. There isn't one time that I was locked up in any type of institution, juvenile program, county jail, anything as an adult, that I was in confinement and I was down bad and upset. Yeah, good days come and bad days come as well. There's some days back there that suck, but I was never the type to be like, damn, dog, I can't believe I'm in confinement, man. Damn, dog, I got 60 more days back here. Damn, dog, I don't know what I'm gonna do, bro. I got 45 more days in the wake up. No, I'm the type back there laughing, clowning. This is where I'm at now. This is what it is. I'm just gonna hang out and I'm gonna make the best out of a bad situation. And that's what I gotta do, no matter what it is that's thrown at me. You feel me? Because at the end of the day, that's how I look at it. Same thing when it comes to me being banned. Whether I'm banned or not, or whether I'm in confinement in prison or not, it's the same 24 hours. Ain't nothing I can do about it. That time is rolling regardless. So if you're someone that complains about being in confinement, and I'm someone that doesn't complain, regardless, our time is moving the same. So why make the time miserable? Feel me? Think about it. The less you think about the time, or the less you think of you being banned or something, you know, the quicker it's gonna go by. You know, take that little time, make it look like, you know, turn it around instead of taking it like it was a bad thing. Take it with a grain of salt and try to master it in your mind like you needed that break. You needed that time away from everybody else on the compound, you know? And just sit back and plot and focus on what you're gonna do next. You see what I'm saying? That's how I was able to do my time in prison in the first place. When I got my 5 years, when they gave me 60 months, I didn't go in there, you know, looking like, damn, I caught 60 months. I took that. You know, I signed for that. So I went in there in my mind that I took that time. Not that they gave it to me. And that right there alone played a whole big role in the way I handled myself in prison. Because I wasn't down about the time I had. Because it wasn't like they gave it to me. Even though they gave it to me, I signed for it. So I locked it in my mind that where I took that shit like a soldier. You feel me? And I was innocent. So that's a real soldier. You feel me? But it was more a mind thing. You know, once I locked it in my mind like that, before I even got sentenced, where I locked it into where I'm going to take this time and get this shit, I'm going to knock this shit out like a tank. Once a tank, always a tank. Once I locked it in my mind like that, by the time I was getting sentenced and going to prison, the rest of that shit was a blur. Before you knew it, it was court date, boom, took, boom, on the bus, boom, boom, I'm here now. That's it. It was like, it just happened like a domino effect. And at the same time through it all, even the bad times, I was smiling. Y'all seen the YouTube videos, Kfrog TV, if you look on my shorts and stuff, you see how I was in the chain gang. I had a lot more smiling times than I had mean times, right? Because I did my time the way I wanted to. You see what I'm saying? And you got to do the same thing if you find yourself in confinement. You got to do the same thing when you get out of confinement. You know, learn to, you know, make it to where you're physically there, but your mind, you're not locked in, you know? Be aware of everything that's going on. I'm not telling you not to pay attention or anything like that. You know, it's very dangerous. But I am telling you, don't let them crack the code up here. You feel me? Just lock it in regardless what they throw at you, you know? And no matter what you think you're going through, whether you're banned on some type of, you know, platform, or you're in confinement, or you're in jail, you're facing a charge, or you got to turn yourself in, no matter what it is, you're homeless, you ain't got no money, you lost your kids, you lost your job, you have no car, no matter what it is that you may be going through in this world, that where you feel like your life sucks and it's the worst, always remember there's someone out there going through something worse than you. You know? In the situations that you think are the worst, you got to look at it like my situation even that bad. I know there's people out there with shit way worse. That's it. That's Frog's opinion, and that's my motive to how I get through bad situations. I get through times in the box. I get through times on the confinement. It doesn't matter if I got put in confinement for something I didn't do. I'm still going to hang out back there and make the guards think I did it. They're going to think I did it by how I'm enjoying confinement. Really, I won't let them break me. You see what I'm saying? Just like I won't let them other prison genre YouTubers break me over here. You know what I'm saying? I got to, you know, go with the program, the system. I got to, you know, and then just next time I won't let them get me like that. That's all. You feel me? But anyways, man, that's all I got for y'all today. I appreciate y'all tuning in. It feels so good to come back on the channel, finally lay a video. Y'all don't know, like, I was going stir crazy, all right? Like, even though I wasn't stressing, my mind was running wild because I'm so used to coming over here. I'm so used to doing videos, you know, and I don't want to make people think that I left. I don't want, you know, I don't want to spend too much time away, because what if I lose interest in it? You know what I'm saying? Like I want to, you know, I'm so used to coming here and dropping content, you know, at least once a week if I can, or you know what I'm saying, or whatever it is, but not being allowed to, that's what kind of like, you feel me? But it is what it is, you know. I took it with a grain of salt. I fell back. You know, I still monitored my comment section, still responded to the people inside the comment section for the most part. And that's it. And I just sat back and I took it a breather. Instead, I was like, instead of me stressing about it, I'm just going to take it with a grain of salt. And I'm going to let everybody know I'm banned right now. I'll see y'all in a little bit. And that's what it is. And for whoever's here, still here, I appreciate it. I salute y'all. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, when content creators don't post, people usually, you know, leave. Oh, he don't post no more. But at the end of the day, it was out of my hands, you know? But that's all I got for y'all today. Y'all make sure y'all drop in the comment section. Let me know what y'all went through, you know, when you got out of confinement. You know, if you've ever been to prison and been to confinement, or what you would do if you've never been to prison or never been to confinement. How you would handle the situation and getting put in a different dorm, starting over each time. You know what I'm saying? That's what the comment section's there for. I appreciate y'all tuning in. And y'all know, like I always say, ain't nothing changed. Even though I've been gone for a minute, ain't nothing changed. Like I always say, make sure you keep them rats, squares, clowns, chomos, pedos, gunners, wannabe island boys, clout chasers, soft-ass YouTubers in the same prison genre as me that like to write emails and shit and get people in trouble. Keep them all out your circle. Fraud don't need them. Never did, never will. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it is. Until next time, this the one and only. I am my team, Frog.
I'm a criminal. I'm a cool nigga, but I got a limit though.
I'm a cool nigga, but I got a limit though. Cause I'm a criminal. Yeah, I'm a criminal.